Hello, Mario. Welcome to our round table. The topic we're going to debate today is public versus private school. So, say your name, guys.
My name is Manuel, and I'm going to be in favor of public education.
My name is Caro, and I'm going to be against private education.
My name is Van, and I'm going to be against public education.
And my name is Luis, and I'm going to be in favor of private education. So, which are your arguments?
Well, my first argument is that public schools prepares you for all kind of context. When you are in a private school, you have the idea that you are going to be the boss. You get a work, and so you think you deserve to be the boss. But in a public school, you are prepared for all kind of context. Now, my second argument is you can have enriching experiences like going to another country. In public schools, for example, the WAC, you can go to another country and it's a free travel. You can have a complete semester in another country, and you can have public schools have more a bigger fund for investigation. The UNAM is the best university in Mexico, and it has the biggest fund in Mexico for investigation.
I am against private education because sometimes the prices of the private schools are higher than the quality that school gives to the students. More expensive doesn't imply higher quality. And second, private schools are just another kind of enterprises that only looks for their own good. And third, in most of the cases, people with scarce resources could not afford that prices to get in private schools, so private schools just are limiting the education for people with scarce resources.
Well, I see three main problems with public education. First is that there are a lot of public schools here in Mexico, and they all depend on the resources that are given by the government. So you have to share all your money with other schools, which means these schools don't have a good quality infrastructure to provide good quality service to the students. Then there are a lot of kids in these schools since these colleges are free for all. So there are 40 students per teacher, which means the teacher can't afford to give the attention that is needed to each children. And third, these schools tend to stick with what is only necessary. They don't look any further to teach more things, and they just stick with what the government says.
Okay, I see three advantages of private school. First of all, I think that, I know that they have the fund to contract the most prepared and capable teachers to make students succeed in their academic lives and to get the learning that the school wants them to get. Second, private schools don't belong to the government, so they are not forced to follow the government academic system. They can expand it, or they can just forget about it and create another one that maybe could be more effective. And the last one is that they invest money in improving their infrastructure. Is positive in aspects like the addition of technology in the school, or also improving the cleaning and replacing the useless real estate to give the students a better experience.
So that's it for the first round.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay, so let's start with the round two and with the rebuttals of each one.
Well, my first rebuttal is for Ivan, and I will tell you that you said that public school, every public school share their fund, but I think that it is a fake argument because schools they doesn't have like I'm the secondary 27 and I will give you part of my money. No, like every school has its own money and it comes from a biggest fund that it comes from the government. But it is not only her, only like it's only money that they get because they also get from quotes that they force students to pay also from uniforms and in some cases they get from books. They sell the books, so it's not the only money they get.
I want to rebuttal one argument that you said that public schools don't have a good quality, but let me tell you that the first university in Mexico is UNAM and it is a public school. It has a lot of good infrastructure. It has lots of investigations, lots of technology that helps those investigations to progress. According to some previous studies that have already been made by some newspapers and some institutions for education in Mexico.
Well, I want to argument what Manuel said. What I meant with that the public schools share the money, I meant that the government gives around 6,000 million pesos to all the public schools, but an article made by the BBC revealed that only 25% of that money is used for the children, for books, or for infrastructure. Since 25% of that 6,000 million it's lost by the corruption in the country, and the other 50% it's lost in paying teachers and people that works in school. And to what Carl said, according to the PISA test that takes into account literature, math, and science, Tec de Monterrey, which is a private school, is actually better in that areas than the UNAM. And also, well, you said that UNAM has a good infrastructure and all those things. Well, that can be found in any, well, not any, but a lot of private schools. So, I mean, it's not like the greatest thing on earth.
Okay, so at the very beginning, Laura, you said that public school can teach you to be not only bosses but also employees and other jobs. I think that thinking like that is to be a little mediocre because yes, because I think that you as Mexican want this country to improve. So you have to think that you want to become a boss and not only in your country but also outside of it. And if public schools teach you to think in a lower level, I think that it is a much more better option to study in a private school that can teach you to be a boss, to get out of the rest of the people that conform with minimum wage, and that these schools can let you have a better life quality that you can get of having an education of a public school.
Well, in rebuttal for you, because I was not like my argument. It wasn't like the school, the public schools like gives you the idea that you are going to be an employee or you are not going to be the boss. No, like everyone wants to be the boss. No, everyone aspires to be the boss, not to be the one who cleans the room. So I wasn't referring with my argument to that the schools only gives you the idea that you are going to clean the floor. No, I think that private school gives you the idea that you're going to be the boss. And public schools, it's not that they give you the idea. They prepare you that if you like don't get the boss employee, you can have another job. You're prepared like to develop a lot of jobs because you're prepared. You're prepared for that.
Okay, I would like to agree with what Manuel said already that private schools teach you how to be a boss, not how to be an employee. But all enterprises need to have bosses, but they also need to have employees. And I would like to add something about your argument. You told that private schools contract